And this falls right on your desk. How do you even begin to start to give the manager a budget where you can say, once the door opens, that's how much you've got to spend, off you go?
Well, in our particular case, our spending has always been the constraint on our spending has always been the amount of cash that we've had available coming into the club, not the actual limit of the cap. So the fact that the cap drops to whatever it's going to be won't actually impact on us, because we don't generate enough income to spend all that money anyway. So from our point of view, whether they bring the rules in or don't bring the rules in, it's not going to change our own behaviour. It just means the gap between us and the other clubs who do spend right at that limit could get bigger. But we know, and it's part of our the way we work, that we know we're having to deal with the fact that we haven't got the most cash in this division. I've said it all the time, I'll say it again, cash doesn't always win, especially at this level. And so we don't need to be afraid of that, and it doesn't affect our decision making. We will spend and do what we can with the money that we've got available to us, and make every pound and every penny count, and that just continues. So, as I say, we set our budget on what we think what we can afford, and that'll be below this cap. So whether they bring the cap in or don't bring the cap in, it won't affect us.
I suppose with that knowledge, that's why you've been able to say that the spade work is going on, and it is that the manager and David and yourself and Sarah, everybody who's involved in that, is looking actively at recruitment right now.
Yeah, that's it. So for us, the things that's going to change the recruitment will be what happens to the club ourselves, not the rules that we're dealing with. So that's why for us, starting the season and the arrangements for fans in the ground are far more important, because that could make a difference, because we set our budget on roughly what we think we're going to get from either iFollow or from a small number of fans in the ground. We can work scenarios out and give you a range, but the game breaker for us would be if suddenly someone says, right, you can do social distancing, get your paint pot out, draw the circles, because we could get 4,000, we could get however many in. I don't know what the rules would be, but we could get a significant number in here, and therefore it wouldn't affect us so much as a club who's got a 4,000 capacity and is faced with only being able to get 500 fans in, no matter what they do. So that could work to our advantage, which would be more income to us.
You mentioned Wigan earlier. I think that one took me by surprise. I was expecting something to happen, but perhaps not Wigan. Knowing what you know about the game, particularly the lower leagues, is that the first of a few, first of many? Are we likely to see other clubs in a really bad situation?
I've no idea. I've said before, predictions around other clubs are not for me. I know a number of people at Wigan. I know Jonathan Jackson, their chief executive. I've known him before he got into football and before I got into football. And he's a good operator. Clubs like Wigan, and they're no different to Carlisle in their own way, they have a level of funding that comes in, and they spend to that level. They don't overspend. They spend to that level. It might be they're making losses, but they're spending to the level of resources that they've got. If for any club you're faced with a shock where the person who puts the money in rings up one day and says, "Not today, it's not coming," then any club in that situation, no matter how big or small you are, has got a big problem. The whys and wherefores of why they took that decision or why they felt they need to do it now, I don't know, so I won't possibly comment. I just know that they're a good club, and I hope that they get sorted out, and I'm sure they will. Bit of
a broad question, but anything else from the EFL meetings that you've been having that has perhaps brought clarity to what might happen going forward?
No, the main bits were about the fixtures and about fans and getting ready for next season. I think everything is all based on the fact that we continue on the current trend of less cases, less infections, less people passing away, and that's the big unknown, because everybody talks about this potential second spike and the contingency planning that's going into that. So that's the biggest concern that I have, that another unknown just pops up and it throws everything into chaos again. I think what I would just like to add at this point is testing. It looks like the testing regime is slowly working. You can see the number of positive testing football is going down, and we've got a development at the club starting tomorrow where we've got a pop-up testing station for the local community, making its debut tomorrow. So that's going to be interesting. At the start of the crisis, we went to the community and said if there's anything we can do at the stadium to help, get in touch. And a couple of months on, that we talked about getting a testing facility set up. So we've got members of the armed forces, the army, coming tomorrow, where people can get tested. They can book in on a system if they've got the symptoms and get tested for COVID at Brunton Park. So again, that's us playing our small part in trying to make that happen. So that's good, and hopefully there'll be a good take up, and we can try and play our part in sorting this out.
Important to say that it's appointment only, so people need to read the story and get online and do the booking.
Exactly. I think that as we were talking earlier, we put a story out and linked to the booking facility, but it's not just frontline people, it's anybody who's got the symptoms. So it's there for the community to take advantage of, and that's great.
Just finally, Nigel, kit launch. I reckon we're just about ready.
Yeah, well, we've been counting. Every time we finish counting the stock, some more boxes seem to arrive. So it's all here. It's all ready to go. It's all on the system. So we're now just waiting for you guys, Amy, Andy, to just to finalise the marketing and the pictures and everything, and then we'll be ready to go. And we're looking at that coming out in about the 17th.
The home kit, I think across the board everybody thinks this is going to be a winner. People are going to like this. Commit yourself on this away kit.
I think the away kit's great. I think the away kit's great. It's bright, and it'll make an impression. So great. I'm having one.
Thanks for your time.
By the way, I pay for mine.
Thanks for your time, Nigel.